with the end of 2022 coming, of course, there's a lot of best of, worst of, most anticipated, blah, but a really interesting piece of data just came out that was tracking the most successful movies and TV shows that aired on Disney Plus in 2022. And as I looked at this data, I found a couple of things that I thought were actually kind of surprising. Let's jump over to my screen here on this. First of all, the most successful movies. Now, they had a point system that basically, number of views, how much points were worth for the first number of days that was available, all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, what it came down to, when you look at the top movies of Disney Plus, only one didn't have a theatrical release first. They didn't have some form of theater. It was a Disney Plus original, and that was Turning Red. And boy, I just how much money that movie could have made in theaters. I mean, it wouldn't have been $1 billion film, but
no, but what a mistake.
What a one of the major Bob Chapek
money.
Absolutely. One of the big mistakes there. But you see, by a mile, the most watched thing was Encanto. That thing didn't do great at the box office, but that's where it got its word of mouth and buzz. And then it got onto Disney Plus, and then everybody wanted to know why we weren't talking about some Italian guy named Bruno. So that's what it went there. Moana. Love seeing that. I love Moana. I love that people are still going back and watching that movie. Their third number one movie. Again, these are all animated so far. Actually, all of the top 6 are animated films. But you had Moana at number 2, Turning Red at number 3, which is a master. Again, I put it in my top 10 films of 2022. Zootopia, Luca, which I didn't love, but I thought it was all right. It was cute.
I love Luca.
The original Toy Story. Home Alone, of course, because it got a big push around the Christmas season. A lot of people tuned in and watched Home Alone. Lightyear didn't even do all that great on Disney Plus. Raya and the Last Dragon. And the number one most watched in the U.S., by the way, these are the U.S. numbers. The number one most watched Marvel film on Disney Plus in 2022 was Eternals. That was their most successful Marvel film on there. Now, if we go over to the worldwide numbers, so these were just the U.S. numbers. It's similar, but a few big differences. So this is the worldwide numbers, not just the U.S. market. Again, Encanto was number 1. Turning Red and Momoa swap places. Worldwide, Turning Red was number 2, Moana number 3. Then worldwide, Avengers Endgame. A lot of people still around the world watching Avengers Endgame. Then you had Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness at number 5. Lightyear, number 6, Eternals, still up there at number 7. Then you had Thor, Love and Thunder, Hocus Pocus, and Avatar. Again, even on the worldwide thing, the only Disney Plus original exclusives that are on there are 2. You got Turning Red and you've got Hocus Pocus 2. All right, let's look at the television shows, starting with the U.S. market alone. By a mile, well, maybe not by a mile, but by a good margin, The Simpsons is still the number one thing being watched. Everybody talks about this thing has run out of steam. Nobody cares about The Simpsons anymore, blah, blah, blah. It is still the number one thing. Again, this is the U.S. market, but still the number one thing being watched on there. Followed by Bluey, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Marvel's Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Jesse, you notice something here? Like animated and children's stuff. Anyway, Jesse, then at number 6, you had The Book of Boba Fett, which a lot of people got disappointed, but a lot of people watched it nonetheless. Number 7, Star Wars Andor. Number 8, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Number 9, The She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. And number 10, Moon Knight. As we go over to the worldwide numbers, again, Simpsons by a large margin. Most watched thing. And then interesting, Grey's Anatomy, just out of nowhere. I guess that's a star part on the star package that's in the international markets. So again, this is the worldwide. Grey's Anatomy, Family Guy, Bluey. Ray's all happy that Bluey's on there. Yep. Modern Family, which I actually think, we don't talk about that show because it's not on anymore, but that was one of the better written comedies. Like the writing on that show was always brilliant. Number 6, Malcolm in the Middle. Then we got She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, How I Met Your Mother, Star Wars, Andor. Good to see Andor getting some success, and Moon Knight. What's really interesting about this list too, talking about TV shows, is that like Netflix, all the most popular stuff is catalog material. It's not even their original stuff. As you see, the Disney Plus original stuff here is She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Star Wars, Andor, and Moon Knight. Everything else was catalog kind of material. So A lot of really interesting things here as we take a step back and look at what really hit, what are people actually watching on Disney Plus. It kind of recalibrates our definitions of success on the meta. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, HelloFresh. Guys, you know, me and my wife, Ann, are both working professionals, and so sometimes coordinating dinner time can be a real pain. But with HelloFresh, it makes dinner time fun, easy, and nutritious. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Now, guys, we've all got New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals, and HelloFresh is here to help you achieve them. Skip the grocery store and take control of your time and budget with delicious recipes delivered right to your door. With HelloFresh, you get fast and fresh recipes. HelloFresh's latest line of meals featuring robust flavors and filling portions are ready in less than 15 minutes. Enjoy taste and quality done quick with recipes like falafel power bowls, seared steak and potatoes with béarnaise sauce, or Southwest pork and bean burritos. So guys, go to HelloFresh.com/Campea21 and use the promo code Campea21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/Campea21 and use the promo code Campea21. Anyway, Rob, you see these lists of the top TV shows and movies. What stands out to you?
Well, by the way, this is fascinating. And there's a lot, I think, to take away. And one of those things to take away is that Disney Plus is truly a family platform. It is not adult fare. Like, are they going to spend lots of money to make a new Alien movie and stick it on Disney Plus? I don't think that's going to happen. And what's really interesting, John, on their top movies in the U.S., the fact that Eternals was the only live-action MCU movie that was on that list shows me that Eternals, we are going to get an Eternals too, because clearly if Eternals is that popular, it means more people ended up seeing it probably on Disney Plus than saw it in the theater.
You want what's interesting? I saw a really neat article in Screen Rant wrote a really interesting article in the last couple of days. Some of you guys may have seen it, where it's basically a year after its release, people are rethinking Eternals.
Yes.
And that's, yeah.
I look, you and I were staunch supporters of that film.
I really like the film.
It's one of my more favorite MCU movies. And it also shows, and I mean this with love, it also shows that sometimes the movie punditry space forgets that there is a much wider universe out there than the one that we just pay attention to. We have to remember that we are a very small minority of the worldwide audience when we're bitching and moaning, complaining about stuff that we like and don't like. That the larger planet is not necessarily as concerned. You know what I'm surprised about on that list of movies, especially domestically? There's not one Star Wars film on it. No one's watching Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back. I would have thought.
To be fair, there hasn't been a new Star Wars movie in years.
No, but I mean, those are all catalog titles. People are watching Toy Story, and that movie's 25 years old.
Again, children's film though.
That's
children's and animated.
But that's where you're looking at the Disney Plus, and they know that. They know that, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, and at the top of that list, Zootopia is a great movie.
Oh yeah,
really great movie. And Toy Story, one of the greatest animated films. Home Alone, of course, you've got. People are always watching that, and that's a Fox title. It's really interesting to look at this. And I think when Disney Plus, because there's, they're talking about we lost $4 billion in streaming. Well, because their programming should be directed at what is their primary audience. And it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, as you go worldwide, there's Endgame, there's more things on there, Doctor Strange. But it's really interesting. Like my question to you or anybody is, why did Eternals wind up on that list? Shang-Chi wasn't on that.
You know what? Here's one thing. It's only one factor. But I think the fact that in relation to the MCU, that so few people saw it in theaters, that when it came available on streaming, they're like, we need to check this out. Mm-hmm. Like a lot more people saw Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness in theaters. So maybe they weren't as inclined to jump on Disney Plus and watch it again. But I think for some people, because what did, fact check this for me here, Taylor, how much, I think Eternals made mid 400 millions. I think something like that.
More than Black Adam.
At the Black Adam.
402.
$402 million, right? Which is at the very, in the new last 6-7 years of the MCU, that is the very bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that had something to do with it. But I think the Screen Rant article was also correct in saying that I think also a lot of people are rethinking that movie and seeing just how original it was for the MCU and how different tune. Anyway, Chris, you saw these lists, the TV shows, movies, domestic, worldwide. Was there anything that surprised you or jumped out to you? Some sort of truth that revealed itself to you here?
Truth definitely did. The animation domination. All right. Disney does animation better than anyone else. All right. We all know this. We all accept that. I mean, 1 through 7, honestly, is just like a millennial thunder blanket, right? It's a weighted blanket of comfort here, of revisiting things.
Thunder blanket.
It's,
That's going to be the name of my new album.
That's, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for it to drop.
Just so I can make that the name of my album.
I know so many adults though who love Zootopia, right? Because it's such a wonderful message and a wonderful movie. I know so many people who love revisiting Toy Story because they grew up with Andy. I'm one of those kids where, when you get to that 3rd movie, that 4th movie, you're gutted because you experienced all of this. Turning Red was in my top 10s. None of you would know that.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that later. You put a movie on that list that didn't qualify.
Which one?
You put Werewolf by Night on it, which isn't a movie.
According to Rotten Tomatoes, it is in the top 100 of movies this year.
Yeah, but Rotten Tomatoes are full with dumb people. So
You the people. Oh my goodness.
The
Okay.
length
We'll
doesn't
fight
make
about it.
Qualify as a feature film.
Well, I'll fight both of you. Then Pinocchio. Anyway, I think this is a really solid list though of really great things, and I think this shows you though that one, people are willing to take risks on movies they didn't see before, right?
Yeah.
Like you were talking about with Eternals. It's kind of like that old school when things went on to DVD and everything, how they'd get that second boom and everything. We don't always see the same financial gains, obviously, when it comes to streaming like we did when people would buy their physical media. But it is really, really cool to see people going, oh, hey, now I can check this movie out and now I enjoy it. So it is cool that we might see things get a second wind that we didn't think would. I also think now that Iger's back, this is one of those things that, we really should focus on theatrical releases and proper marketing for our animated fare because this is what people expect from the House of Mouse.
because the chart showed that almost all of their top performing things were things that had theatrical releases first.
Exactly. And when you look at the demographics too of who actually goes in to watch these things, it isn't just children watching them. Adults, people of all ages love their animated content. So
Don't
more
tell
of
Bob
that.
Chapek that.
I know.
Bob Chapek won't believe you. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Were there any surprises there for you? Is there some nuggets of truth that you gleaned from this information? Whatever you thought about these charts, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there.